the gas, took them down Laurel Canyon Boulevard for a short distance and then back on to the 5 freeway. They've been following him northbound on the 5 freeway through Sun Valley for the last several minutes, and now he has transitioned onto the southbound side of the 5 freeway where traffic is moderate, and he thinks he's going to get away here, just weaving through, trying to find a gap along the southbound side here, coming up on Burbank as LAPD continues the pursuit, simulcasting on also notifying California Highway Patrol as they monitor this pursuit as well. We will see if CHP decides to get involved here, if this is a handoff, or if LAPD chooses to stay on his tail. Right now, LAPD does have all the resources in place, a primary unit, a secondary unit, and a supervisor all in tow here, as well as LAPD air support following from up above here. And we will see just how far he decides to take this. Right now we are, again, back on the freeway where it is the safest place for pursuit this time of the night. You can see there is a little bit of traffic, but overall he is doing about freeway speeds, just about speed limit. And right now they are choosing to stick with it. So they are about 100 yards behind, at least the closest unit is. And he's just kind of going around the little traffic there is here. You can see a lot of trucks on the freeway right now, hugging that left lane, pulling all the way over to the left, the fast lane, and pretty much committed to the 5 freeway. Now, this all started in LAPD's Northeast Division. Again, the Want is a stolen vehicle. At one point, he was going southbound past the 134 before he got off the freeway, went back onto the northbound side of the 5 freeway. And again, to reiterate, we're now going southbound. So he's not exactly doing circles here, but he's retracing his steps repeatedly as he goes up and down the 5 freeway, getting off, getting back on, and basically deciding to stick with the San Fernando Valley. This time we will see how far south he decides to take the 5 freeway before pulling off here. We'll go ahead and widen out just a touch and see just how far back LAPD has fallen behind. It looks like they have given him some distance to play with here. Not sure if they have canceled the pursuit, but clearly you can see they are still tracking him with the helicopter. It certainly appears that they have fallen way back now. Not sure, again, if this is still a hot pursuit or if they've decided to let this go, but in any event, you can see them still. Okay. All right, being told that CHP is now getting into position to take over the pursuit. LAPD has terminated the pursuit. CHP may be getting involved, at least maybe they're considering it. And for the time being, LAPD air support going to continue to track the vehicle until CHP decides what they're going to do here. There is the CHP officer behind him, yeah, got it. So the driver here picking up a little bit of speed, CHP behind him a little bit of a ways back, waiting for backup to arrive before lighting him up once again. So LAPD has terminated the pursuit. CHP deciding to give it another shot, but before they light him up, they're going to wait for a second unit to arrive. And in the meantime, they do have the luxury of LAPD's air unit right above, watching and tracking his movements down the 5 freeway once again, coming up on the 134 here in, well, coming up on Glendale, essentially, once he gets onto the 134. And he does have an option to get onto the 134 or stick with the 5 freeway. Right now, it certainly appears that he is committing to the 5 freeway. And now, it does look like CHP has once again, they have their lights and sirens on. So this is now
We have breaking news right now. The CHP in pursuit of a driver of a stolen car.
Desmond Shaw is live in Sky 9 above the scene. And Des, we're hearing that this may be a stolen Kia Soul.
That is correct, Ross and Susie. We're southbound on the 5 now. We're leaving Burbank. This one has basically circling back across Los Angeles. It started in South LA, and LAPD was following this vehicle for a really long time on the northbound 110, then onto the North 5, the North 2, and then somehow we ended up all the way in Burbank and actually Pacoima before they decided to try to pull this vehicle over. And then LAPD, they really wanted CHP to get involved. They really didn't want to pursue this vehicle. The watch commander was even saying, we're not going to chase this person. But they said if CHP wants to do it, then they can. So that's where we are right now. It's now CHP's pursuit, southbound on the 5, an allegedly stolen vehicle, this white Kia Soul, as we make our way down towards Los Feliz. Ross and Susie.
And Des, I know that we have very limited information, but are you hearing anything about that suspect? Does CHP or LAPD believe possibly armed? Is it one person in the car for sure?
It sounds like they're talking like they think there's just one male in the car, just the male driver, no one else. That's the information that I've heard so far. No word about armed and dangerous, or how this vehicle was acquired, if it was stolen off the street. It most likely was. If this vehicle was taken by carjacking, we might know that information. So this was most likely just on the stolen vehicle database that all of the law enforcement agencies share, and LAPD ran that license plate, saw it was stolen, and they'll follow a vehicle for a long time. They want to make sure that they have backup, that they get air support. That is LAPD's helicopter overhead, so they're in the air, but on the ground it is CHP. But just believed to be the one person here. Haven't seen really crazy speeds, but we are up a little bit above the speed limit now as we continue to head towards downtown LA.
Desmond, I know you were talking about the fact that this person was driving on the 110, the 5, the 2. Any indication that this person was on Surface Street at any point in South LA?
I don't. They brief not in South LA. Not that we. It must have been initially when LAPD probably first spotted this vehicle and ran the license plate. But then the first we had heard was that it was on the 110. And then when we got to the Pacoima area, they were kind of over by Whiteman Airport. Briefly got off the 5 freeway and then came back down through Sunland and then got onto the southbound 5. So here we are. I would say we've been on freeways about 95% of this pursuit. You see CHP right here. They're actually from the Altadena office, but they're trying to get CHP's Central Division to come in and take this over. And we'll see if CHP sends their helicopter as well. They come from Fullerton Airport, so they may come to eventually relieve LAPD.
And Desmond, can you pull out just for a second? It looks like southbound 5 there in the Elysian Valley is it's not that busy. That's a good sign, right? Traffic looks pretty sparse at this moment.
Yeah, definitely some light traffic conditions. Went through a construction zone earlier, but fortunately that didn't see any workers out there. I think they were just getting ready to set up the cone pattern. So pretty light traffic, and we'll just widen out and show you up ahead. I don't see any stop traffic or any road work, anything like that, to slow this suspect down. So just kind of cruising along here. Look, we're only going about the speed limit, and we haven't seen any of the crazy zigzagging around the freeway or blowing through red lights on surface streets, stop signs, anything like that, cutting anyone off. This is more on the much more tame side of the spectrum so far as pursuits go.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 10, this is breaking news, a CHP pursuit of a stolen vehicle. We don't know much about the person inside this car, if there's anyone else, if they're possibly armed, but we do know that this person has been driving at a high rate of speed on various freeways. This all started in South LA, as far as we know. On the 110 freeway, they jumped on and then onto the 5, the 2, and back onto the 5. This started again in South LA, went through the cities of Burbank and Pacoima. The LAPD was at one point following this person, trying to get all of their people in line, if you will, behind this person. They have to make sure they get the approval of a supervisor first before anything can begin, obviously. And now the CHP is behind this person. And Desmond was talking about the fact that they're trying to change maybe to the CHP Central Division, which they will often do just because the pursuit is going through so many different areas so quickly. And usually the CHP will want to create one big package, if you will. They want to make sure that their chopper is overhead, which Desmond mentioned that they are probably on the way from Fullerton Airport right now. They want their cars, their patrol units behind this. And the CHP usually, that's what they usually do. It's all of theirs or usually nothing. So here we are waiting for the CHP chopper to come overhead.
Yeah, and Desmond, it looks like the driver now got off the 5, right, and is on the 110 heading north. Is that correct?
That's right. We transitioned there from the South 5 to the northbound 110. Kind of tried to pull a fast one there where they were kind of faking like they were going to exit the freeway, but then jutted back over to the left at the last second, thinking they could pull a full CHP. That seldom works, and it didn't work this time. You see just how close that CHP unit is behind. Kind of interesting, we're hearing that CHP is actually launching their fixed-wing aircraft. It's a stationair. It's usually a crew of 3 on their aircraft. Maybe their helicopter might be down for maintenance reasons, or we haven't heard them up in the air, so not sure the reason behind that. But I can tell you that the fixed-wing aircraft definitely at a disadvantage with a situation like this. They have to fly higher. If this goes down into the LAX airspace, they're not going to be able to follow into that airspace. Just a lot more airspace restrictions when you're in an airplane as opposed to a helicopter. So we'll see. Maybe they might want LAPD to hang out on this one for a little bit longer, but CHP's fixed-wing aircraft inbound eventually. They don't have a spotlight on board either. They do have infrared technology, though, I believe. But here you see northbound on the 110. But, it's weird. The suspect's been using their turn signals, to signal lane changes. The lights are on. The speed limit here is actually right at about the speed limit. It's about, I think it's 55 miles an hour here on the northbound 110. So it's just really interesting how, I have to just say, tame this pursuit is compared to so many that we see.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that it's a Kia Soul, isn't it? I mean, you have to wonder what is it possibly in the vehicle that may have tempted this person to take it, and you also have to wonder, is CHP going to back off? Is that why the fixed wing is coming out? Look, it looks like he's getting off. Is that what's happening here?
Well, let's see what they're. I think he just kind of went through the stop sign and now getting back on the 110. So just kind of aimless at this point. And again, we started this on the other side of the 110, way down in South LA. We've already kind of done a big tour of Los Angeles all the way up to the northern San Fernando Valley. And now headed towards Pasadena. Continuing on the 110, it's going to dump them out in Pasadena. It ends onto Arroyo Boulevard north of Fair Oaks. If the suspect decides to stay on the freeway, he's going to be forced onto surface streets at this point. So we'll see what they do. Might be an opportunity for CHP to do a pit maneuver. We'll see. Haven't heard anything about them being approved to do that, but it is a very common tactic for CHP as soon as they get that opportunity on surface streets. Not uncommon at all to see a pit maneuver.
We've definitely seen them do it on the freeway as well. It looks like they are exiting here, Desmond. Is this off the 110 here?
Yeah, so we're getting into kind of a weird area around the Mount Washington area because surface streets here are just run all over the place. It's very easy to get lost in this area. The suspect, there's lots of hills around here. We'll see if they're going to stick with the main streets. Looks like so far they are now down onto Avenue 60. Unfortunately, maybe a few too many people out here for CHP to do a pit maneuver kind of some narrow streets as well. But you see the spotlight overhead being lent by LAPD on this. We'll see where the suspect is going, maybe down into a neighborhood now, and might end up, well, let's see if this is an area they know or if they're going to run into a dead end.
Yeah, it's interesting when they get in these side streets. As you say, it certainly seems that the path is random here, and they seem aimless. So maybe they've just made a bad move here. Oh, here we go.
Back onto the freeway. Yeah, this is the 110 freeway. It's so narrow, and those exits and the entrances are so dangerous and sudden. If you've ever driven on that freeway, boy, they are making some crazy moves right now on this freeway and speeding up too.
Yeah, this is LA's first freeway. It's the second freeway ever constructed in America, and it shows with those ramps like you were just mentioning, Susie, how the entrance and exit ramps are so sharp, and you have almost no room to accelerate and avoid moving traffic. So here we see the suspect going northbound on the 110, and again, this will end, if they're going to stick with this, it will end onto Arroyo Boulevard in Pasadena, kind of close to downtown Pasadena. Only 3 lanes on this freeway, kind of windy. There's no shoulders either. Definitely one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult freeway to drive in Los Angeles, just because it is so antiquated. But we will be at the end of this freeway shortly in Pasadena. Then we'll see what the suspect decides to do next.
And Desmond, we're just hearing from CHP that they don't know how many people are inside. So it is possible, perhaps, there's more than one person. It looks like the windows are tinted, somewhat difficult to see at this point. If there's a secondary person inside, of course, that raises a whole host of other issues. Is that the car owner inside? Are they being held against their will as this person races through the streets here and continues moving forward?
Yeah, and as Desmond was talking about, this 110 freeway is going to end in Pasadena. I don't know if they know this or not, but it should be pretty interesting when they get off and suddenly they are on surface streets. Now, we talked about possible pit maneuvers that they could do to possibly stop this person, but they're talking about optimal conditions to do this. They're not going to just do this anywhere, as Desmond was talking about. They can't do it on a busy street. They got to think about who's going to be affected by this pit maneuver, people walking outside, other cars parked on the street. They're looking at a host of things first before they actually even try something like that.
And you know what, guys, I apologize. I do need to make a correction. I got so caught up in talking about the history of the 110. We are actually going southbound on the 110. Okay. So now we are headed back towards downtown. So not the end where I mean, this side of the freeway does end too, but not until we get all the way down to San Pedro. So still a lot of options for the suspect. So we are headed back towards the 5 freeway and downtown Los Angeles and Dodger Stadium, and then the 101 and the heart of downtown Los Angeles. And our assignment desk telling us that it's not clear when this vehicle was stolen, but they did indeed run the plates and it came back stolen, but they're unclear. It's unclear when that happened or how it happened, but you still see CHP with this, and it'll just be curious to see if they're going to want to stick with this if we end up getting off the freeway, you know, into downtown Los Angeles or something like that. We'll just have to see. We will be in Elysian, right by Dodger Stadium, and then Chinatown shortly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this car heading back into a busier area.
Exactly, and possibly into LAX airspace again if we keep going south on the 110.
Exactly. You have to wonder if they're possibly going back, headed towards South LA, to where they came from.
Which we often see.
Right. Maybe that's the area that they're familiar with. Maybe they have a home there. And think they're going to get some sort of assistance, but
maybe they know someone there.
Yeah, and Desmond, what is that? LAPD's chopper that's spotting it right now, or is it CHP up above?
It continues to be LAPD's helicopter because, again, to my knowledge, I don't believe that the fixed-wing aircraft has a spotlight on this one. I'm kind of almost feeling like CHP is almost just following this to do LAPD a favor. I would not be surprised that if this goes onto surface streets and stays there for more than 5 minutes, that they're going to try to bounce this back to LAPD, and then LAPD might, even just say, no, we're not going to chase it. It's just kind of the time that we live in. We've been seeing where, LAPD, LA County Sheriff's deputies, sometimes even CHP, depending on the watch commander, they're just loath to chase these vehicles if it is a stolen vehicle that was not stolen in the midst of a violent crime, or if it was just a traffic violation or anything like that. The things that are on the more minor end of the crime spectrum, we're not really seeing the very aggressive pursuits anymore. So we'll just have to see what CHP does with this, but it is a definite possibility, considering that this is just a stolen vehicle. And again, and this person is oddly, really obeying almost, basically every law except for, failure to yield, obviously running from the police, but using the turn signals, not cutting people off, not speeding really quickly. It's just always very bizarre to see a situation like that, not really making any active attempt to get away from the police. Maybe the suspect's just running out the clock here and trying to drag this out as long as possible.
They're using their turn signal here to change lanes. How unusual is something like that?
No kidding. The biggest question, I think, is, also, it's a Kia Soul, how big is this tank? When are we going to run out of gas, right? Mm-hmm. Like Desmond was talking about, we covered a lot of ground from South LA all the way up to almost Pasadena. We're talking about going up the 2 freeway as well. So they've covered a lot of ground so far. And Desmond, we're now in downtown LA, correct?
Yeah, that's right. In downtown here, right through the heart of downtown Los Angeles, and we'll be coming up to the 10 Santa Monica freeway. This is an SUV, but it maybe qualifies as more of a crossover. This is definitely not one of those big gas-guzzling SUVs that only get, maybe 10 or 12 miles to the gallon. I think a Kia Soul probably gets closer to 30 miles per gallon. Now, CHP is talking about something. My assignment desk just cluing me in, and of course, we'll see what happens here if the suspect continues on the 110. CHP may have something up their sleeve. Don't want to tip their hand here in case the suspect is, is watching themselves streaming on the CBS app or something like this. So we'll see if they continue on the 110, although we're coming to the 10 and signaling no, actually we are for sure staying on the 110 here. So making our way down into South LA. CHP, again, may have something going on up ahead, but now we have the fun task of dealing with LAX airspace. So if they stay on the 110, it'll be okay for us. We'll be able to continue to bring this shot for you. So at least for our viewers, I guess. Go ahead, Ross.
Well, it looks like the units behind it are getting closer. You think that's just the function of the traffic slowing down here, or do you think they're moving in here?
Yeah, they're going to want to have at least 2 units in general. That following a vehicle, they want to have someone else standing by in case the situation goes south in any way. If the suspect does something sudden, and okay, so now not only are we dealing with LAX airspace, but we've got those big flyover ramps from the 110. So pardon our shot here for a second while my pilot Jeff tries to talk LAX into allowing us to go down the 110. And if you're just joining us for a pursuit that takes place in LAX's airspace, when LAPD is overhead on a pursuit, obviously we have to cede the airspace to them, and we kind of have to stay on the perimeter. And so here we are exiting very close to USC, getting off the freeway, getting off of the 110, and yeah, let's see if there's a pit maneuver here or what's going to happen.
I think this is only the second time that we've seen them actually exit the freeway. As far as we have flown over it, as far as we've seen tonight, they can get off a surface street and off the freeways, but most of the time they have been on the freeways. And so it should be very curious to see what happens here, but we are trying to follow this just as closely as possible. Again, Desmond and his crew in Sky 9 dealing with some airspace issues right now because we do have to give that, of course, to the LAPD, who is following this very closely as well.
Northbound.
Yeah, and if you are just joining us, this pursuit has been going from South LA up the 110 on the 5 and then back down here, just exiting, I believe, in Flower. Is that right? Going into LAX's airspace right now, so Sky 9 can get this close. at the moment. Oh, there we have a better shot right now here on Figueroa. And this has been going for quite some time.
Yes, now
Initial
actually,
reports.
Yeah.
Initial reports here is that this is
northbound on.
Oh, go ahead, Des.
Yeah, sorry. We're actually, all of a sudden, this is kind of what the suspect's been doing, just kind of aimless, got off the freeway and started going east and then turned back north. So we're actually headed back out of LAX's airspace here on Figueroa. So we're going to be right next to the LA Convention Center and Staples Center shortly. We're right by USC and that row of all the fast food restaurants. So not sure if school is in session or if there's a lot of people walking around out here. But again, the good news for the general public is that, you know, at least if this person feels the need to run from the police, they're not doing it in a crazy manner that is, you know, seriously jeopardizing everyone. Well, let's see if they're going to try to, I say that, but maybe they're going to try to go through this red light. Indeed, they are. Not blasting through it.
And using their signal.
Yeah, still using their signal.
But, okay. Yeah, very weird. And in fact, CHP now just said if the suspect continues to do this, then, wow, I was going to say that they would cancel it if they continued, and yeah, they did just cancel it. So this is kind of what I was saying earlier. Now, it got on surface streets. CHP didn't really seem like they cared that much about this because they were not the ones that initiated the pursuit to begin with. It was LAPD. LAPD handed it off to CHP, and now CHP just said, all right, that's it. We're done. We're on surface streets. You just went through a red light. They don't feel the need to chase this person. It's a frustrating thing to see a stolen vehicle, you know, get away for now, but law enforcement in a really tough position here, balancing public safety with a stolen vehicle. There was no indication that this was a carjacking or it was a violent theft, and so it sounds like all the authorities are content to let this person go for now and, you know, maybe try to surprise them again at another time. Obviously, the vehicle's still in the database. They still know that it's stolen. There could be another opportunity, but law enforcement has said they are giving up on this pursuit tonight.
Well, you know, the good news, we can assume that this person is not armed. We can assume that there's no one in that car against their will. We've seen that the pursuit has been pretty tame, as you said, Des, right? This person's obeying some form of traffic laws. So
I mean, it would be such a different situation if it were, you know, under other circumstances, like they are armed, or if there was some sort of violent situation that happened. They know that these people are dangerous. But a stolen vehicle, you know, sometimes they will do this.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, they certainly don't want to be a danger to anyone else and have this driver go headlong into another pedestrian or another car.
Well, just to recap what's been happening here, this is a pursuit that we've been following since South LA. It went on the 110 freeway, onto the 5 freeway, the 2 freeway, back onto the freeway, then 110 almost into Pasadena, then came back down onto the 110 South into downtown LA and exited in Exposition Park. And we have been in this area on surface streets since then. This person has certainly slowing down in those residential areas for sure, and using their turn signals, as we've been talking about, you know, moving away from other cars, something, again, that we don't often see in pursuits. We always see most of the time, the high rates of speed. And, you know, even on surface streets, it makes us so nervous when they do that. But it looks like, you know, they're waiting for cars, being polite.
Well, look at this car just stopping. CHP is no longer pursuing this vehicle. We're following it in Sky9. It doesn't even appear that the LAPD chopper is above, certainly the spotlight, no longer on this vehicle. What can you see from the air?
Sorry about that. I was talking with my pilot. We were just trying to figure out what law enforcement's thinking. So LAPD is aware that CHP canceled the pursuit. It doesn't sound like they want to get back involved. Initially, they had said, if this person runs, we're not going to chase it. That's kind of how this started. Now, LAPD's helicopter is still overhead. They're still monitoring this situation. So maybe if the suspect stops somewhere, then maybe they might want to bring officers in once they're out of the vehicle. But they are not actively pursuing. You see, there's not even a spotlight. They are, again, just monitoring from the air. But the watch commander may even call them off of that because they don't want to get into these situations where you get a really agitated suspect. And, you know, sometimes what's unfortunate is they'll even give up the pursuit. All law enforcement will leave, and then the suspect will still drive like a lunatic and get in a crash and injure an innocent person. So law enforcement it's very difficult to say on any one of these given situations on how they should handle this, but no more pursuit. LAPD looking from overhead for the moment. We'll see how long that lasts, and I believe CHP said they're getting ready to take their fixed wing out of the way as well. But there you go, right there. There's LAPD's helicopter coming into the shot. I just saw a door open there on the passenger side. That was kind of weird. So now I'm wondering if there is someone in the passenger seat, because they had said that they thought there was only one person inside, but kind of weird there. Just saw the passenger door open briefly.
And Desmond, when the LAPD airship just passed by, was that them taking off, or was that them just shifting directions there?
I think they were just changing directions. Okay. My pilot Jeff will let me know if they do leave, if they're told to leave. I know we've heard the frustration from some of these tactical flight officers in the air, where they get overhead and they get these, and you could just hear the frustration in their voice when the watch commander tells them, no, cancel the pursuit. We're not going to go after this one. So they tend to hang out as long as they're allowed to, until their watch commander calls them and says, no, just leave the scene. But they're still here, and we just continue to wind our way around streets here, kind of around the West Adams area, south of the 10 freeway, into some residential areas, and just wondering if this is where the suspect is going to ditch the car and run, or park the car and think that they've won this round, or what. But just kind of hanging out in residential areas now.
Well, you know, you got to wonder if this driver believes they're still being followed. There's no spot on them. There are no flashing lights behind, but perhaps they can still hear the chopper, the LAPD chopper above them, so they might think that they're still being pursued in some way, shape, or form. Maybe that's why they're not bailing at this point. You know, it's hard to tell. I think you're right. I think it did look like the passenger door was opening up there. We don't believe at this point that anyone is being held against their will, because they have backed off on this pursuit. So, you know, maybe we will see the bail coming up here shortly. But if they still think they're being followed, was that the LAPD chopper there in the Fliner? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. Was that okay?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
that
it's
was
the noise.
LAPD,
would be
and
my
you know,
guess.
well, right. Yeah, LAPD is much lower than us, as you could see them going through our shots. So, and if anyone has been in the area when LAPD, you know, is going around in circles around a dangerous situation, then you know just how loud they are. They're at about 600 feet right now, and we are up much higher than that, and we're also shooting more from a distance here. We have, you know, the benefit of the zoom lens, so hopefully it won't be us, you know, agitating the suspect or having them continue. But LAPD, they're low. If their radio is low, they could almost certainly hear the chopper. But they've got to be thinking, you know, there haven't been any officers around them for quite some time, so maybe they're thinking that the coast is partially clear. And at the very least, they have to know that if they do get out and run, I mean, they are, it's just the reality, they are going to have a beat on officers if they were interested in moving in on the suspect, because there is now no law enforcement presence on the ground anywhere near this vehicle.
So we see we see a lot of turning around, Desmond. Are they angling towards one general direction here, or does it seem pretty aimless at this point?
Pretty aimless at this point. We are, well, now we're kind of trending westbound, kind of been zigzagging around, so west and now going north. So we're starting to kind of track west, but we're still south of the 10, about maybe a mile and a half west of USC, and now turning back east again. So yeah, it is a little aimless at this point. And again, this started in South LA, the Southwest Division. We first heard about it there along the 110 somewhere in South LA. And yeah, it looks like that's it for this one, Ross
All
and
right.
Susie.
All right. Well, we're going to keep Desmond Shaw and his crew in Sky 9 above the scene and bring you the very latest here on KCAL 9 should we get any updates. But in the meantime, here is Jamie Maggio at Sports Central.
You're watching Sports Central on KCAL 9, sponsored by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very shortened version of Sports Central. I'm Jamie Maggio. We're going to begin with the Dodgers, who have owned their rival.
There's the LAPD airship. I can. Go ahead. Go ahead, Booth. I gotcha. Not even that. The airship's here, but he doesn't have his night sun on it. He's just kind of keeping tabs on him, but they officially canceled the pursuit. The airship is just notifying LAPD where he's at, just in case they want it, but at this point, nobody wants it. Gonna be turning southbound. Okay, perfect. Hey, Studio A, yes we are. Copy that, Booth. Mike check 4 News Chopper 4 Alpha 12345. We're in the Adams Normandy area. A little bit higher, yep. We're in the Adams Normandy area where we're tracking a car that the California Highway Patrol was in pursuit of. Hey, great. Jack, the answer is yes. This is, no, like the Adams Normandy area. Yes. Say that again? Thank you. Yeah, we can call it that. Because we're basically by USC. That works, perfect. And the airship just left, so now there's nobody on it. Except for us. That's correct. No police officers and no police ship. Yeah, so it's just us. And the passenger just got out here at Normandy and 30th, and the driver is going to keep going. Copy, 45 out. Will do. Okay. Copy. Copy. Right below us. Chuck and Colleen, this is a pursuit that has been going on now for about an hour, and as you said, we're just west of USC, just off of Normandy and 27th Street. The vehicle is that white car that you see there, and it is a white Kia Soul. Now, the CHP was in pursuit of this vehicle from the Pacoima area all the way down here to the USC area because they believe that the car is stolen, and it was on the freeway for a good portion of the time until he exited and has been on surface streets ever since. And just about 2 minutes ago, the driver let his female passenger out of the vehicle in this general area, and now he continues to circle this area, perhaps looking for an area to abandon the vehicle and take off running. But again, all of this happening near USC. That's the latest here from News Chopper 4. Let's send it back down to you in the studio. And thank you to everyone who is joining us on NBCLA.com, Roku TV, and Apple TV, as well as Fire TV. We continue to watch this vehicle. At this point, I can tell you that the California Highway Patrol has pulled off. they had ground units behind the car. They're no longer there, and then there was the airship overhead as well. But my pilot, Robert Rodriguez, is telling me that the airship has just pulled off as well. So at this point, the vehicle continuing to circle this area. But again, LAPD has been notified because it is their jurisdiction. We're in the area of Dalton and 29th Street. And as you saw on our air here just a few minutes ago, the driver of this white Kia Soul abandoned, or rather let his female passenger out of the car. And we did just pass an LAPD unit, so we'll see if that unit gets behind the vehicle. But for now, continuing here, 29th Street at LaSalle in the Adams Normandy area. So now Harvard at 27th Street. Again, LAPD would be the division that, or the agency that would have to get behind this vehicle if they're going to pursue it, because it's their jurisdiction, unless the vehicle gets back on the freeway, in which case then the California Highway Patrol could get behind the car. Now Western at 27th. Okay, coming to a stop here in the middle of the street for some reason. Oh, it's because there's some slower moving traffic in front of him. Vehicles there waiting at the light. We're at Western and Adams. So if he continues northbound on Western, that will lead him to the freeway. So we'll see if he decides to hop on the freeway. That would be the 10 freeway. There's an LAPD unit. He could have gotten behind it, and he didn't. So you saw the driver make that westbound turn on Adams from Western. So that means he's not getting on the freeway. He would have had to have gone northbound on Western in order to do it. But because he's going westbound, he's basically running parallel to the 10 freeway just on the south side of it. Okay, so we've got a development here, guys. Nobody was behind the vehicle for a good stretch of time, and now the LAPD is behind the vehicle. So we'll see what he does. He doesn't have it lit up just yet, but this is going to be the Southwest Division of the LAPD. I can tell because there's a number 3 there on the top of the vehicle, so that belongs to the LAPD Southwest Division. There are 21 divisions in the LAPD, and number 3 corresponds to the Southwest area, which is where we're at. So let's see if that officer turns his lights on. Hey, Booth, he doesn't have him lit up yet, so not a pursuit just yet. He's just following him. Okay, the LAPD just turned, so he did not continue to follow him. Yeah, he just turned just past that apartment building, and now there is no one behind the vehicle. Assignment desk. So a unit of the LAPD did get behind the car for about 2 minutes, but then he backed off, so there's nobody behind him again. Copy. It is not. The unit that was behind him backed off. Not a chase again. The unit that was behind him left. Yes, correct. Okay, copy that. Yeah, yeah, so no one's here anymore. It's just us. The police helicopter left, and ground units left. Yeah, that's like looks like No, it's like a BMW. But he's like following his every move, which is weird. Okay, copy that. So gonna be right on this. We are still in the same area. The Adams Normandy area. Yeah, kind of like west of USC. He pulled into a gas station. Yeah, he's under it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, he might be coming back out. You do? Okay, the car's out your side. 1 minute out. He's kind of behind us now. Yeah. Copy. Perfect. Let me see. Yeah. And Chuck, I was going to say this pursuit has been going on now for such a long time, almost an hour and a half, so I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps he needs gas, and that's why we've seen him approach 2 separate gas stations here in the matter of just a few minutes. Now, this is a pursuit that started in the Pacoima, Arleta area near the 5 and the 170 of a possible stolen Kia Soul. The California Highway Patrol was in pursuit, taking us all the way here to the USC area, where he continues to circle the general neighborhood. And there was a point where he dropped off a female passenger and then continued on here on surface streets, where he continues now, again, in the area of Vermont and Dana Street near USC. That's latest here from News Chopper 4. Back to you in the studio. Thanks, guys. And for those of you who continue to watch us here on NBCLA.com, Roku TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, we of course thank you for your viewership. We continue to follow this vehicle, a white Kia Soul, here now in the University Park area, so near USC. The California Highway Patrol was in pursuit of this car because they believed it to be a stolen vehicle. It's a pursuit that we first picked up near Whiteman Airport, near the 5 at the 170 in the Pacoima area. And he then made his way southbound on the 5 down to the 110 freeway. He went north on the 110, then south on the 110 before exiting at Exposition, so near the Coliseum, where he has been on surface streets ever since. And during the pursuit, he did drop off his female passenger. It's unclear if anybody else is in the car, but what he did just now was drive through this parking lot, and now he's driving back out in the direction that he came. And he also had pulled into 2 separate gas stations here within a matter of a few minutes. So it's unclear, perhaps he's looking to get gas or he's looking to ditch the car under a gas station overhang. But it looks like he is coming back out here, Vermont and Dana Street, University Park. Back into that same parking lot. So I think he's clearly looking for an opportunity to abandon the car and run. I don't know that this is the best place to do it. It's a well-lit parking lot. There's really no cover. So you see that gray car? That car has been following the white Kia for quite some time now, for at least the last 10 minutes. So I'm wondering if that person is in cahoots with the driver of the Kia Soul, perhaps a friend that the driver called to have him pick him up, at a parking lot like this. It could be a situation like that, or it very well could also be a situation where the driver of that gray vehicle knows that this car was in a pursuit, because of course it's been on television now for the last 90 minutes. So it's unclear if perhaps he found the car and is deciding to follow it. Unclear. Sometimes we see that with independent journalist situations where they will follow the pursuit vehicle. So it's unclear if it's something like that. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it and see what happens. See if they try to talk to each other. But for now, again, same streets again, Vermont at Dana Street here in University Park. You see that gray car. He's trailing him and not really trying to get next to him. So very interesting. Yeah, he's absolutely following. Without a doubt, he's following him. Now, what the intention is what I don't know. Is this somebody who's looking for some vigilante justice, or is it a friend who's trying to help him out and trying to wait for him to ditch the car so he can get in his car? Unclear. Could also just be an independent journalist who's hoping to get a shot of the vehicle and the driver. So for now, we'll continue to watch this strange turn of events here. University Park at Vermont and 25th. Okay, you just passed him there. Going to be coming under us here for just a moment. Catalina at 24th in the Adams-Normandy area. So near USC, just a little west of it. I'm hearing from you guys on social media. I know some of you think it is a stringer, an independent journalist. So we shall see when all this is said and done. Getting back into a gas station. He's been here before. It's the second one that he stopped at. But he's not stopping for gas. And I'm hearing from some of you, again on my Twitter, Eliana Marino, that some of you think it's 2 cars that are following him. I definitely think it's at least 1. So I did see that second car that you're referring to. Could very well be 2. Okay, police unit coming code 3, my pilot Robert says, so we'll see if he comes this way. And he's going somewhere else, so not coming to this. But he's getting back in that same parking lot where he was at before, the one just off of Vermont and Dana, the one near the Ralphs. He's been here twice before. Okay, so in the parking lot for the Ralphs. Oh, he may be parking. Or he may be reversing. Quick reverse there through the parking lot. Adams and Vermont. Okay, let's see what he does. There we go, driver door opening. He's abandoning the car. Hands are up. He thinks the police are right behind him. Buddy, I don't think they're here. They left you a while ago. But now he's walking into the Ralphs, where he's going to try to blend in with the other patrons. So he's at the Ralphs that is located just off of Adams and Menlo, or Adams and Vermont would be your other major. It's the Ralphs near USC, so in the University Park area. You saw him ditch the car there and he walked right in. His hands were up. He thought the police units would be behind him, but again, we saw those units back off a while ago. But there he is again. So he expects to be arrested. He's looking around, wondering, where are these guys? I know they were behind me earlier. And they were behind you earlier, but you were running red lights, so then they had to back off. He's got his cell phone in hand, bandana in the other. Hands are still up in the air. He's trying to look for the police ship, which also left earlier. And he's just standing there outside of the store again, possibly driving a stolen car. He's down on his knees. He's surrendering to no one at this point. Yeah, this is our guy, Jack. Yep, this is him. He walked into the Ralphs. He walked right out. He's waiting to be taken into custody, but there were no units behind him. They had backed off earlier because he was running red lights, so out of an abundance of caution and for the safety of all involved, they had backed off. And Jack, yes, I know where you're going with this. I won't either. But yeah, he's looking around, trying to see where the officers are. He's just on the other side of that pillar. Let me widen out, because he's looking at something. There's a black sedan there. Perhaps he thinks that that is an undercover officer, but that is a Toyota Corolla, which is not an undercover vehicle. So he's just outside of the store. And nobody is arresting him. He's arresting himself at this point. So he's down on the ground waiting for officers to show up. Again, this is LAPD's jurisdiction, Southwest Division to be exact. They were notified of this pursuit. For just a few minutes, there was a cruiser from the Southwest Division behind the driver, but they never initiated the pursuit. They just followed him for a couple of minutes and then peeled off. But before that, it was the California Highway Patrol that was in pursuit, and they followed him when he was on the freeway because that is their jurisdiction. However, once he started driving on surface streets, running red lights, running stop signs, that is when they decided to back off because of public safety issues. And now everyone's just kind of walking by this guy, wondering why this guy is on the ground. And you see this this man there, he has his cell phone out recording him because he cannot figure out why this guy is down on the pavement here, right outside of the Ralph's store. Nobody really stopping to ask him if he's okay, just kind of walking by. Again, we're in the area of University Park off of Vermont and Dana. Also, Vermont and Adams would be the other major. But other store patrons coming out. I believe this store is going to close here pretty soon, doing some last-minute grocery shopping here. And just kind of waiting for somebody to come to arrest him. But at this point, nobody's coming. There's no police airship overhead. There's no ground units behind him. And he's still just down on the ground. There's a possible stolen car. You see it there, the Kia Soul. Again, no police units anywhere in sight, not even any undercover units. I am seeing some independent journalists coming to the scene. They're here to see the arrest happen, but without any officers here, it's not going to happen. Unless the owner of the vehicle wants to do a citizen's arrest, but he probably doesn't even know that his car's here, so we'll continue to watch this. Yeah, go ahead, Booth, I got you. It was, end of a police pursuit would be it. He's waiting for LAPD to come arrest him, but at this point, there's just nobody here. He's right outside of the Ralphs in the University Park area, so we're near USC. Okay, perfect, will do. I copied you, Robert, thank you. I agree. University Park, yes. And once again, for all of you joining us, I guess you don't need the speedometer anymore because this guy's not moving. But we're in the University Park area, just off of Vermont and Adams. This driver is trying to do the right thing. He led the CHP on a chase on the 5 freeway to the 110 freeway, exited on the surface streets here near the Coliseum. He drove around here for a very long time. He dropped off his female passenger, and now it's basically just him face down here on the pavement. The car that he allegedly stole is over here. That's that white Kia Soul. And you see the store patrons just kind of standing around. We do have some stringers here, some independent journalists that are also recording this guy down on the pavement. A lot of people just kind of scratching their heads, wondering what this guy is doing because they didn't see what we saw. So they don't know that this guy led the California Highway Patrol on a pursuit here, and people just walking right by like as if it's nothing because again they don't know. They don't. I'm sorry, guys. This is somewhat comical just to see people walking so close to him. Copy that. 90 seconds out. There's the security guard too, just walking by. Maybe he'll stop. No, he's not. Okay, well, again, right outside of the Ralphs, Vermont Adams here in University Park. Yeah, we have a stringer there walking up right to the vehicle, trying to get some video of that. We're going to be up here, up in a minute, guys, here on NBC4. We hope you can tune in for that. Again, NBC4 here in Los Angeles, and we'll continue to stream NBCLA.com. Yes, you got it. Yes. Okay, copy. Okay. Chuck and Colleen, my pilot Robert Rodriguez and I are just kind of scratching our heads about this one because this was a very strange ending to this police pursuit. As you said, we're just outside of the Ralph's store here on Vermont and Adams. There is the white Kia Soul that the California Highway Patrol was in pursuit of, not only on the ground with their patrol units, but also in the air. But during the course of the pursuit, they actually backed off completely. And the driver here got out of the car, and he thought that units were behind him. So he got down on the pavement waiting for someone to come to arrest him, but nobody was here. Those units had backed off, and now you see store patrons coming up to him to see what's wrong. But again, no police units here to take him into custody. That's latest here from University Park. Back to you in the studio. Thanks, guys. Copy that, Jack. We'll do it. I just need one good shot of this guy. Okay. All right. Well, guys online, we of course thank you very much for Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, all of our streaming platforms. We will have an update on this crazy pursuit. And this time I can say crazy. We will have an update on this crazy pursuit tomorrow morning on Today in LA. We hope to see you then. But for now, from News Chopper 4, I'm Eliana Marino alongside my pilot Robert Rodriguez. Thank you very much for watching.
Wow. That easy, huh? Fuck. Fuck. That's unbelievable. Well, I guess that one's gonna go down in the history books. That's the weirdest fucking ending ever, bro. Dude, the chopper's left now, just quiet. Wow. That easy, huh? Fuck. Fuck. That's unbelievable. Well, I guess that one's gonna go down in the history books. That's the weirdest fucking ending ever, bro. I just went down the street, bro.
Hey, but was it him who got dumped from the car?
Yeah, that was him. That's the car. Well, Learn something new every day, man. Damn, these people got blocked in by the stolen car. You guys need help?
No, they're gonna shoot us. If we get on, they're gonna shoot us. That's what I'm saying.
¿Está en su carro ese?
Ah, sí. Dicen que la policía lo siguió por 3 horas.
Yeah.
¿Había policías aquí? Nomás en el helicóptero, ¿verdad?
Se metió ahí con las manos acá.
Se rindió ahí, no llegó la policía. Lo están persiguiendo ya como horas.
Porque me lo han dejado allá.
O les han de haber hablado otro más importante.
These people can't back out. I want to help them back out. Oh, the car's still running.
Ah, espérate, eso ahí. Se va a hacer para atrás, mijo.
¿Sí? Okay.
A ver, dale.
Cuidado, eh. Oh, he's got a backup camera. 30-point turn here. You got it. You got it. A pretty nice turning radius on this Ford with the optional backup camera, making it easy to slither out, dude. If you ever get trapped in by a stolen car suspect, just like that, you're gone. He left the car running. Well, that's the first time for everything, dude. In the windows. Fully equipped navigation. Bluetooth connection. That's fucking crazy.
You walked off.
Well, the good thing is if this is your car and it got stolen, I don't see any key in the ignition. So I don't know if you... yeah, it has a key. It's not push to start. It's still on. I don't know. The steering column doesn't look broken or anything. He gave himself up. This was the car, bro. He came out there. He laid down for like 10 minutes, and the cops never showed up. He just walked away, bro. Some girl was like, "Hey, get out of here."
It was a guy?
I think it was a guy, bro. They were saying it was a girl, but I think it was a guy.
And he laid down and they just...
He was laid out right there for like 10 minutes, bro. Like
Waiting
50
for them
people
to come?
waiting for the cops. He put his hands up for the helicopter.
And they just took off?
And then after like 10 minutes, like some girl came up. She's like, "Get out of here. They're not even showing up."
What the fuck you
And he just walked that way, bro. Yeah. He was high as fuck. He was like, I'm high as fuck. And she was like, okay. She's like, just walk away. And he started walking. Dude.
That was his fucking lucky day. That's crazy.
Yeah. Don't touch the car. It's just stolen.
Hell no. Hell no. This is somebody's shit. It ain't hit it though.
He broke that mirror over there.
Somebody hopped out.
And there's no key.
Did you see that?
It looks like there's no key, so I don't know how he turned it on, bro.
Probably jammed it. Did you see the?
No, there's no key in the hole.
The dude in the passenger seat hopped out.
He
over
jumped?
here.
I heard there was someone that
Yeah,
ran.
he hopped out.
That's wild.
That's the first time I ever see somebody want to get arrested. No, want to get arrested.
Oh, that was you broadcasting on Citizen?
On YouTube.
YouTube? Yeah, he did all that. Just let him go.
So if your Kia Soul got stolen, it's in one piece. You're just gonna need a replacement mirror, but it's running right here in the Ralph's parking lot. I think this is Adams and this is Vermont or Normandy, I'm not sure. I think you're gonna be all right, dude. You go to the junkyard and get one of these for like 20 bucks and go back to living your life, bro. You're gonna drive it home. Don't see any damage except for that mirror. I don't know if he broke the steering column, but I don't know. Nothing looks broken inside there at all. I'd actually be afraid of somebody else coming by and stealing it. Is this the cop? No, this is like USC police. No, man. The guy that stole it, he was waiting here to get arrested for like 10 minutes and he just walked away that way. It's that stolen car they were chasing. The cops didn't show up. This is my car. I don't have nothing as nice as this. I got a 95 Corolla. But yeah.
That told you?
Yeah.
I told you, that one's it. So they just ran out?
You didn't see?
No, we just got here, that's why.
The dude was getting chased. He came out, he was doing circles, right, in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
He came out right here and he just parked out and he went right here and he just laid out on the ground right there for 10 minutes waiting to get arrested and the cops didn't come, so he just took off. He just walked away.
Stop, no way.
Yeah, he just walked away.
We were over there on Century and they passed by over there. And then ended up here in
He was waiting to get arrested there for like at least 10 minutes. And the crowd was around him and some girl was like, just get away, the cops aren't coming. He went.
Oh,
He went that way.
God, that's crazy. It was his fucking day.
We just left the car?
First,
Is that for Citizen or just your?
Oh, YouTube, just YouTube. Was he trying to get me to incriminate myself? Yep, it's my car. Huh? The guy was he gave himself up right here. He came out. He gave himself up. He laid down right there for like 10 minutes. The crowd was around him, waiting for the cops to come.
And the helicopter?
Yeah, the helicopters are still here. Yeah, everyone was thinking the cops are going to come anytime. Even me, I thought the cops are going to show up. And then he just walked away that way, down the street. He just walked away on foot. That's all I know. I didn't see nothing. What's up, bro? Some guy stole that car. Yeah, and then he got out and he just walked away. Alright, dude. I think it's time to go. I almost feel like waiting around for the cops to come because I don't think they're even gonna show up, dude. They're gonna show up late. This guy is like USC Community Protection Police or what? Public Service. Public safety. Were you guys following them too, or no? That was you guys? Huh? Just when he got in here?
Yeah, when he got in here, yeah.
Roger, 206 on a TV and on his home. I don't know.
This is crazy.
They're saying, like, 6 feet just in the park, right? Yeah. The guy pulled over. He was lying on the ground for like 5 minutes. Then he got up after they got out.
87 Jan, I'm 13 over 118 Palma Drive.
He walked inside the hood.
Stand by, I'm 100 here, trying to back for 108, crossing out of 18 out of home.
Car's on.
Roger, I'm bringing from out of the Vermont. Roger.
Good working.
Oh, thanks for that donation, whoever that was. Even these guys can't believe it. These guys are like, we're university police and we would have got that guy.
You said you saw the guy? What was that? You said you saw the guy? Along with others. you know what he was wearing, just in case you just want to do stuff like that. You guys can check out the news clips. Why can't do that right now? Did you see him or did you see him, sir?
He just had long hair.
Just long hair?
Yeah. Oh, he's fucking gone, bro. He's been gone for like 20 minutes. He's gone. Let's see if he dropped anything here.
Huh?
Let's see if he dropped anything. He was laying out right. You didn't see it?
No, I just got it.
Oh. The dude fucking, he was in a stolen car. He was getting chased all over the city in the stolen car right here. And he came out. That car is stolen right there. He parked it right there, walked in here, put his hands up for the helicopters. I was wondering why. I thought this was covered, but this is open here. So he was like putting his hands up to the sky to tell him to come arrest him. And he laid down here. He was here for like 10 minutes at least. Bro. And the crowd was gathering. There was like fucking 50 people recording him. And then he just took off walking after some girl talked him into just leaving, bro.
Is that okay?
They're like, the cops aren't coming? Just leave. And he left.
What the fuck?
That's the first time I've ever seen that shit.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not for him to let it go, I guess.
Alright guys, I think we're gonna take off. I mean, if they didn't even show up, why would I don't even think they're gonna investigate it later. I mean, there was 50 people fucking recording them, dude. So. If they want, they can rewind the stream. Oh, I think they spotted him, bro. Vermont and Dana. I think they spotted it. Maybe he's not getting away. If it's your first time here, make sure you guys subscribe to my news channel, AXN News on YouTube. That's usually where I do most of the stuff, dude. This channel, I don't really follow calls on it, dude. I just drive around and play music. And it's like, and that's where I'll be putting the higher quality. The whole time that I had this stream on top of the camera, I was filming with my better camera. This one I'm definitely putting. I don't know, the car didn't look like he broke the ignition or nothing, bro. There was no key in the ignition. And it was a keyed car, you know, it wasn't like a push to start with the fob. I don't know how he got it turned on, bro. Maybe wire somehow. Whatever is probably better. However they started, it's probably better for the owner of it, dude, because it didn't look like they damaged it. Maybe just hot wired it.
13893, Roger. Yes, 13893 is responding code 3.5871 Wall Street to 972 East 41st Street. Are you clear?
1501 41st. 7 Sam, John Robert 269.
Three traffic stops at Pulveda and Roscoe on 5 Union Tom Victor 384. You're reading the decking box parking lot. The box parking lot. And those left me westbound 106 from Manhattan with the condition of skin from the time 0434.
And make sure you guys sign up for the AXN News channel and this channel, but AXN News if you want the action, bro. All this stuff happens on that channel.
On a warrant 2008 Honda.
This would just happen to be. I was ready to go home, bro. I was in Hollywood and I heard of the chase.
5862 Hillview Park Avenue, Van Nuys.
Oh, a donation, dude. Phil, thank you. Oh, dude, thanks for the $50, bro.
21857, Pierre does wish to meet. He's standing by out on the street in front of location.
G219 Phil.
Oh, there's doors being heard open and closed, and a female heard in the background, but no response to the video. New Jersey.
S4805 Backman Avenue, no highway unit for the code 3 calling identified.
Okay, yeah, so all the units support Alpha, 35th place for Danker, for Hebrew. Southwest units, code Alpha, 35th and Danker. 35th place and Danker.
2342 hours.
I'm thinking where that is. 35th and Danker was a little bit past that way.
Right up by Backman. I was just wanting to 4005 Backman. The suspects are 2 male. Get your status.
This guy's gone though, man.
Vehicles a silver Nissan Nano, unknown license plate. Vehicles disabled. Go to incident 14 or D19
The chopper's on the move.
Involved in felony hit.
1781 Roger, 696 Sonora 296.
There goes the chopper headed north.
Avenue.
Probably for something else.
3 code 6972 East 41st Street. 863, 13A63 code. Traffic stop with Echo Community 7, Tom David Young 350. Jim and 15867, code 3 from Riverside and Hortons to 4805 back. Freeway no longer sees the vehicle. And then come in on North Holland Spring with State Park 11, suspect there now.
Location.
Houston 4805 Backman Avenue, suspect vehicle is silver Lexus, partial license 77.
Imagine how he's gonna wake up, bro.
With last seen and southbound. 11 side 11 so 30 ringer 1148 Cherry Avenue with a resident.
He's gonna be like, damn, dude, that's the fucking, that's the craziest meth I ever took. Actually, I don't think he was on meth, bro. He wasn't very hyped up. Even when he was driving, he was calm, dude. It looked like he was hitting a vape.
Just have one for female, 40 years with pain to her head.
And when he got out, dude, I stood back. I fucking. Everyone's like, oh, let me just go right up to him, bro. Fuck that shit. You got no experience of fucking drug users, bro. They'll flip out fucking once they're getting chased across the city and by the cops, bro. They're fucking. They will flip out, bro. They'll flip out and stab your ass, bro.
To Lexus, 2015 Lexus utility vehicle. What was you put? It's name 21 Roger.
Some people were saying it was a girl, dude. It didn't look like a girl to me at all.
It's a male white call, bring a white shirt. No train that was not to the location. Train is no longer there. It's code 2 inside 22, early 490.
No, it's in trouble. 22, correction, 972 East 41st Street, suspect your way.
37, thank you, response. 36, train, thank you for the debrief.
I can copy, we're here with the suspect at the moment, so we'll be there with him. Verify what race the people fighting were.
I like how they
16 boy 21 watch 4 and the watcher.
The security guard asked me if that was my car, but
Wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, code 2 incident 25 and already 1079.
was he fucking serious?
Anyway,
Or was he trying to entrap me? Or what?
Van Nuys Boulevard, Unit 202
Or did he really think like, or did he think that that's my car that got stolen from me? And I'm there to pick it up.
Build, wearing a red baseball cap, white shirt and shorts.
He had no idea what was
black
going on,
grocery bag inside the office. Code 2 incident 28, 3985.
I think someone might have just called the USC police.
Civic units and 1413, 1413, 211 silent, 12240 Venice Boulevard, 12240 Venice. At therapy office, code 3 incident 24 RD 4246.
Is this yours? Yeah.
Code 6 trial indicated, verify your
I
location.
just jumped out of it.
Your team responding code 3 from Venice and Berry to 12240 Venice Boulevard.
If that was my car, I'd be happy, bro. I've had cars stolen before and they fucking strip them and they take all these parts. That one, if they jumped it with just that USB thing and they don't have to break anything, nothing looked broken inside. There's no key, the ignition lock wasn't broken. Only that right mirror, not even the outside, dude, not the plastic part, just the glass part is broken. Probably get that thing from Amazon for like $14.
Officer, health and safety. Code 6 in the other back.
1550 Roger. You also smell with an iPad in Alameda.
Steals your car, takes it on a cross city police chase, and you only come back with one broken mirror.
Go to incident 30 in Alameda.
You did pretty good.
Go to incident 29 9130. You didn't end up
And he was probably
identify.
smoking like a peach flavored vape in there, dude, so it's gonna come back smelling good.
NGDB1 Roger.
Follow that 333 South Barrington.
Kia Boys. I seen that video with the Kia Boys. That's why I remember someone said about a USB cable.
It's going to be a party that was dispersed.
Is there an app or some shit? They hook it up to their phone or to a laptop?
13640 Brownell Street, incident 23, RD 1611.
I guess it's like some type of jailbreak that goes into the computer system. It's probably only supposed to be for the dealers and mechanics and shit. I'm sure somebody's it's only a matter of time before it gets into the public's hands, dude. Sell it.
Get to the ambulance, overdose, 9571 88th Street.
Like the push to start thing, dude, because then if you have a problem, you have an electrical problem, you're fucked. You gotta take it to the dealer, it's gonna cost you a shitload of money.
335, contact the vehicle only.
That's why I drive a 96 Corolla. Keep it simple. No USB tricks on this shit.
Yeah, 75, are you clear?
You know that new the Fiat, that little Fiat car that came out?
That's the studio apartment. Code 335 8635.
Dude, I remember some girl broke. It was brand new, bro. Like 2 years old when they first came out. She broke down in a drive-through, in an In-N-Out drive-through, and you couldn't even push the car. It was stupid. You couldn't put it in neutral.
7th Street, east of Lake Street.
So like that, I guess they had to shut down the whole fucking drive-through for the night, dude. I think it was electronic or something. Like the transmission, I think, was electronic. Couldn't even put it in neutral, bro.
Yeah, right around here.
Roger.
Southwest corner of Veteran and Bush.
Is that for all pusher starts? Oh, then I definitely don't want that, dude. I thought it was just that piece of shit Fiat.
Light supervisor, me 8829 Southwest corner of Veteran and Wilshire.
Yeah, there was a. It was like some pretty girl, you know, some young pretty girl. So it's like every dude was like, "Oh, let me help you, dude." There was like fucking 25 guys that tried it, and everybody failed, including me. Get the fucking hamburgers, dude. They wanted to keep the hamburgers moving, bro.
Of the building is a full-blood suspect with a female black, 20 years, 5'6", 130, wearing multicolored shirt and multicolored pants, armed with a hammer, breaking windshield to a black Ford Fusion. Code 2 instrument 42 and RD 1802.
Next week, 3 Commission, code 6 at Central Motor Garage.
Roger. Weather code 6 addition on your welfare check 877 Francisco. Your callback attempted to cancel. Advise that you were code 6 into by 182. Rider Boulevard.
Yeah, well, I don't think this guy's.
7 traffic stop here on Colorado and a silver Audi. Audi took place.
Hospital RA26.
Is the DMV still fucking behind on the plates, bro? They're just giving out paper plates too?
Silver Audi, no paper plates. Code 2 instant 22 or D497. Addition on your screaming woman 6616 Emmett Terrace. The male at the location is known to have guns, no guns seen tonight. Additional incident 35. 63 Union Pacific was notified. States they will stop all trains in the area as a courtesy. Additional incident 5144.
Is it to repeat?
Up at 25 in Alameda, 25th and Alameda, and he has a request on a taxi.
Who's responding to you on your request?
You guys see that crazy accident right there? if you guys, you know that accident that happened earlier? That lady that fucking ran the intersection? I went to it earlier, dude. It's on the other channel. AXN News. There should be a live stream up with the last video up. AXN News on YouTube. It was a crazy accident, dude. I got there, I don't know, I got there late. Like half an hour after it happened, I think. You can see the damage, the carnage. And I seen the video afterwards, bro. She was coming down that hill, dude. She must have been going like, she had to have been going at least 80. She was going full speed down the hill, bro. Didn't even attempt to stop. So either she was having some type of medical emergency, or she passed out, or she did it on purpose, dude. And I think she survived, dude. She's in the hospital, I heard. It was a five or maybe 6 fatalities now. And I think 7 or 8 people got transported with minor injuries. That's fucking insane though, bro. Yeah, she is alive? Wow. Is she the one that was pregnant? Witnesses said she was drunk? Really? How would they know though, man? Didn't she get... Dude, those cars burst into flame. You go to like... Most of the news probably already have it, but CBS News has it on their webpage. Just look up the accident. You scroll down, they have the surveillance video from across the street. And the cars had already gone. There was like 6, 7 cars that already were in the green light. And she had a red light coming down that hill, and she went full speed, dude. No stop, no nothing, bro. So just blindsided, T-boned a car. And I don't know, I guess that car pushed another car, but I don't see how she would have got out of that car, dude, and they could tell she was drunk, dude. I don't know. I don't see how she could have just walked away from that or walked out. I thought she got really injured, dude. I thought she almost... I guess not, dude. You'll hear the details later, bro, but maybe it was the poor other lady that was just driving in the wrong direction, bro. Fucking insane, dude. It's the worst luck you could ever have, bro. I mean, she could be drunk. I guess that would explain it, but fuck, she must have been so fucked up.